welcome to the next Ponyville build that I've got. Well, I guess the last one I had, it was a Canterlot Castle, not Ponyville. But, yes, so, this one was, it took some time. First of all, it's a tree. It's a tree. Just kind of hard to replicate that in The Sims. Like, I've done a tree house before. I just feel like this is a tree, not just a tree house, like a house in a tree. So I think that was the hard part, trying to make it look like it is part of said tree. Which we'll get into that in a minute. But again, so, hi, welcome. Let me know how you feel this goes. If there's some changes I need to make that maybe would help it look a little better, or, you know, details that I've missed, feel free to let me know. Always looking for some honest critique and, you know, anything to help it look a little better. The roofing, yeah, that took forever. I got rid of most of that footage just because it took a crazy amount of time, and then at the end some of them I ended up taking off and, you know, doing something else anyway. So that was the roof. So I know you're looking at it and it's probably just the most horrific thing you've ever seen. So don't fret, trust the process. That was basically my motto to going through this build. As I was starting, I'm like, okay, just keep going. If I didn't like it, it's okay. Just keep going and we'll go from there, kind of thing. So, so that's kind of, you know, what it was. The other thing, so I had this one picture, and then there was like an inside picture that I was, you know, looking at. Not really much to go off of, you know, like a 360 view of the outside. So kind of the back side of the build is a free game. I kind of tried to make it look like it, you know, wasn't just the back side of the build. Try to give it some personality, add some things, which I added somewhat of a backyard just because I thought it would be nice. And yeah, I was trying to find the way to make it look like a tree, and I'm like, I could go with like the dirt looking kind of wallpaper, but I went with just basic, you know, paneling. So hopefully, I think it worked. It's fine. It doesn't really look like a tree itself, but the shape is there. And I added these vines going across. Again, I got rid of a lot of that because again, it's supposed to be a tree, not a house with vines going across it. So I changed that, and you'll see I'm looking for a bush so that I can use that as some of the roofing. There was a lot of, in the picture, there's the, like, roof areas that are, like, that light green color with the little flowers on them, and I'm like, okay, that would be nice to replicate that, because the roof just wasn't doing that for me. So, we went with the bushes. I was glad it worked. It was fine. It could look, I don't know if it could look any better, but that's what it looks like. So, you know, I was happy with the end result anyway, but that was the whole reason as to why using the bushes, just because the roof was not working. It didn't look like the picture at all. So, it took some time to get the bushes up there, and with the glitching, and kind of like it would fall back and forth as I'm trying to move it, but, you know, it was fine. I hope it looks okay. Again, if you have any ideas, let me know. But I was really excited to get this build started again. So I had done Canterlot Castle. That was rough. It's a big castle, and it's the craziest of shapes and colors. Like, it has purple in it, and I just don't have a lot of purple things in my game. I don't know if it's just the packs that I own don't have any purple, or if that's the way The Sims is and there's just not a lot of purple. So that was rough. This one, I'm like, okay, there's, more colors that I can work with here. I feel like, it should be more manageable, besides the fact that it's a tree and not a building kind of look to it. So those bushes, I've actually never used them before because I just don't like the way they look, but I'm like, I'm gonna try them. They fit. I like the color of them. So, I mean, I thought I'd keep them, and I ended up keeping them. Yeah, I think they're fine. They're not my go-to, but I wanted to try new things. So, yeah. And so this porch area, I put a door because I'm like, oh, it can be used as a porch. But in the picture, it doesn't seem like it is really used as a porch. It looked like just a window. So I end up changing it to just a window. Again, so the landscaping outside, kind of just like doing whatever, looks decent. There's some bushes in the picture, but I mean, really, it's not much. So I kind of kept it as simple as possible, and then added terrain paint to, make it look a bit more like the picture as well. I forgot I put trees on the top like that. Yeah. Okay, it was an idea, it was a choice, but I forgot that was even there. So this build, it's up to you. The tree that I put like in the backyard right now, I do move it up to the front, of course, for final pictures and finality. Like, that's the way it's uploaded in the gallery. I would not leave it there if I was gonna be playing with this build. So I would just move it into the backyard like it is, right there. It's not really functional with the tree there because it's hard to see in the build whatsoever with that tree. So just a heads up for that. Okay, so moving inside, of course, like Twilight's room is like in the library, and it's kind of that, split level kind of thing. And I'm like, I could go platform, but at that point, like I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry if you heard that racing car. I wasn't sure about using an actual platform instead of just, making it a separate level of a floor, because I wanted to make sure I had space. Because I know spacing, it's never really works the same in The Sims as it is in anywhere else, let alone a show that's not even really realistic to begin with. So I could have made it look more like the picture if I used platforms, but again, I wanted it to be useful as a library, as well as, be inspired by the picture as well. So I made certain calls, maybe I'll go back at some point and see if it looks better with just the platform and making it just her house and not, thinking of it as, it's going to be a public library kind of space. So yeah, let me know if you think maybe it would just be better to keep this as just her house and not as a lot that is a library that can be visited by anybody, which is saying that I still do make it able so that if you have the businesses and hobbies pack, you could make this a place where you live and work, or own a business, because I do put a kitchen and bathroom upstairs, like even above the bedroom itself. So there's options if you want to live here, not live here, whatever it is. But yeah, so the inside, I liked the way that the platform bedroom was turning out. Like it's small and nothing crazy. The bottom, this whole library space, it was really just a free for all. That's why the picture's gone. I was kind of just being inspired by the wood the textures, the colors, and then I wanted to bring in purple because, you know, she is purple. So brought in some purple and pink as well. Wanted to make sure that there was plenty of books. This was the point where I was like, okay, this is gonna be a public lot, so need to make sure it has all of the library necessities, which I didn't have any struggle with, you know, adding in whatever was needed. The one thing I did forget were computers, and I added those at the end. You don't see that being added, but I added ivy and the pink flowy curtains. I liked the way they looked stacked on each other. Again, it's a tree home, so wanted to keep leaves and greenery and plants as a central theme throughout, with the purple and the books. So kind of, you know, it ended up being manageable to figure out how this is gonna work, because there was enough for me to work with to, you know, make it work. Yeah, exactly. Again, bringing in the purple was not the easiest. There wasn't a lot of options, but there were just the bare minimum that were the perfect color, like these chairs, the cozy sitting chairs, really like those. And then I ended up finding a rug that was perfect. It had stars on it and it was purple, and I'm like, hey, she's got stars and she's purple, nice. I'm keeping it. So that's our winner. I put rugs down for the desk spaces. I ended up taking those out. I just prefer the raw wood throughout the floor, you know, just having the occasional carpet was nice enough. So and then the front rug I moved into the bathroom, things like that. What took forever is just alt placing all of the books onto the shelves, which you'll see. I'll get started at some point. I'm like, okay, I need to stop pushing this off, because I was just, you know, putting it on the back burner. I'm like, oh, I'll do it eventually. Here it goes. But so after this, I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out what kind of what am I gonna do next? And I'm like, maybe Rarity's salon, like it's not a salon. I don't know what the word is. Boutique. Yeah, there you go. Salon, boutique. Might go with that. Again, it's more purple. But I think the inside of her home is more like, it's like fuchsia. So that is something that The Sims has, is fuchsia. That will be interesting. But yeah, let me know how you feel about that. We'll see how that goes. Again, we're still putting books on these shelves, so not much of interest going on. I actually have never used those desks before, now that I think about it. And yeah, there's 4 of them, and they all look the exact same and have the same swatch, and they have those books on them. So I put stuff on top of those books to make it less like they are the same exact desk with the same exact clutter on them. So hopefully, you know, that worked. I feel like, you know, they don't look exactly the same now that I added the small things on top. As I found things in the clutter and decorations, I would, you know, put them throughout the home, because I was like, what did I find? The journal that had handwriting in it. Of course, she would have that next to her bed. And then there was like random, like those magazines I'm like, she wouldn't really have magazines, but she would have that one stack of magazines where no one can reach them, like just on top of that bookshelf. So I put those there up on the top left that you see. I put, a bunch of books that I could find. Really, any book I found, I would just put it somewhere. So I think it really turned out nice. I've never done this kind of a build before. it made me think of the kit, like the Book Nook kit. I don't have that one, and I'm like, man, that would have made this build so much easier, so much nicer. I feel like it would have, turned out really well if, I had it. But I don't, so I think I worked with what I had, and it still looks nice. And I had fun doing it, despite lots of this being just really repetitive. But yeah, again, it was a process. I was glad I could, get this build going, especially after the Canterlot one that just didn't. It was a start, and maybe later down the road I'll be able to go and try that one again. But it was the start of, getting into this, and I'm like, okay, I think I've found a rhythm getting into that. Also, yeah, this, this part in the base game, Sims 4, you have that stump and you find these, like, magic beans, more or less is what they are. And I'm like, oh, Twilight would do that. So I thought I added that into the back because that would be something that, kind of goes with her character that's also related to The Sims. But yeah, here we are. Added a dragon, added a pet bed for Spike if she has a dog. But yeah, if you enjoyed, let me know. Feel free to like and give a comment, subscribe if you feel the need to. I mean, I do enjoy having others around here. But yeah, I appreciate you joining, and I hope you have a good one. Until next time, I will see ya. Okay, bye.